Greetings, peace be with you. So in this video, you are going to discover how to conquer digital addiction. Okay, this is basically about rewiring your dopamine reward system so that you can use this powerful tool, which is our smartphone, rather than get used by it. Okay, because when it comes to this sort of thing, it's like people on two ends of the spectrum. One end of the spectrum are like, yo, this is the demon, this is the worst thing ever to happen to humanity, we have to completely banish our technology. And then on the other side of the spectrum, there are people that only care about the likes and the follows and the comments on their social media. But if you've been following this channel for a while, you know that it is all about finding that golden mean, that harmony, whereby we're not on either end of the extreme, but we can use this tool, right? It's a powerful tool that you can use for so many positive benefits in your life. But it's only a tool until you get used by it, right? It's like fire. You can cook food with fire. You can use fire to keep you warm. But if it gets out of control, then it can burn your whole house down. Okay, so it's about first and foremost understanding that this is a tool. And when we go through the dopamine detox, we can actually stop engaging in behaviors that are destructive to us with regards to our smartphone usage, and we can evolve to become users of this rather than get used by it. Okay, and as a side note, now that I think about it, it's like there's only two companies, or not companies, like two industries that regards their customer as users, right? The first one would probably be drug dealers, right? Drugs, medical. And the second one would be technology companies. So that's an interesting note over there, right? So by the end of this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the exact display on my home screen of my smartphone so that you can use that as a model for your own, how to really minimize the distraction over there. So make sure to stick to the end of this video. So according to my cheat sheet over here, the first thing that we must keep in mind is that of some mental models in this regard, okay? Because Carl Jung had a great quote. He said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So there's a couple of things that we must have an awareness of. And the first of these things is, why are these smartphones so addictive? Why are these applications so addictive, right? Now, before even diving into that, let's just get clear on what an addiction even is, okay? Now, a mentor of mine defines an addiction as the things that we love but don't love us back, okay? And it's important to first and foremost admit that we are addicted, okay? Because if you find yourself that, my smartphone usage is completely fine, I don't even need to change my smartphone usage, then this is not the video for you, okay? Because the first step to recovery is awareness, is admitting that you are addicted to this stuff, right? And the analogy that comes to mind is that of a pickle, right? So a pickle is basically a cucumber which you put into some vinegar and some, water and stuff like that overnight, and then it becomes a pickle, right? You can do this with other vegetables as well. But the point is over here that you can't unpickle a pickle, right? Once our minds have been exposed to this reward that we get from our smartphones, then it's very difficult. See, this dog agrees with me, even though he doesn't have a smartphone. It's very difficult to unpickle our minds, right? It's very difficult to, once that we have been exposed to the technology, to completely rewire our minds, right? And it's impossible to continue on with the same usage without having that awareness, okay? I don't even know what I just said there, but the first step to get awareness on is that of why these tools are so addictive, right? Now, understand that there are the world's top engineers that are working diligently to get your attention. Okay, we are living in the attention economy. It's more than $7 trillion. And they are creating algorithms that are specifically designed to capture your attention, okay? To hack your mind. What does it mean to get hacked? It means when unauthorized access is being taken place over here, right? With our minds, it's like our attention is being hacked when we are putting it towards areas, towards our smartphone, towards activities that are not serving our highest potential. Now, why is this the case, which I've been alluding to? It really starts with, see, this dog agrees. The dog agrees with me. So it starts with understanding that of the first psychological manipulation tactic that's taken place, and that is of random rewards, right? And I'm doing this motion over here because it's the same thing with slot machines, whereby people get addicted to that stuff. Why? So there's a study that they did with the rats, okay? So there was a rat, he would push the lever and he would get the food, right? Very predictable outcome, and he would just eat as much as was required for him to be full. But in the second part of the experiment, they brought in a rat and they would pull the lever, right? Mind this dog. They would get the rat, they would get him to pull the lever, and the food would come out at random times, okay? So it would come out at random times, and when this rat would experience the food coming out at random times, not knowing when it was going to come, then he would just keep pulling it, keep pulling it, keep pulling it, keep pulling it to the point where he would eat past the point where it was actually serving him, right? It would make him unhealthy to the point where he's eating so much, right? As my crow friends are here accompanying me as well at this point. So that is the same thing with social media, right? Sometimes we go there, we get the notification, we get the comment, we get the like, and sometimes we go, we don't, but this random reward, so therefore we're triggered to actually keep going back to it, okay? It's a slot machine pretty much. And the second psychological principle to be aware of, which, whoa, don't know what that was. The second psychological principle to be aware of, a lot of distractions over here, man. Staying focused over here, wow, is that of social validation, okay? When we get these notifications on our phone, it's related to social validation, right? It's related to, did they like us, right? Someone's thinking about us right now. And the human mind is wired for that, right? The human mind is wired for social validation. We are herd animals. That is where we evolved from, to like in a tribe. And if we weren't validated, then we would get banished from that tribe. If we got banished from that tribe, we would end up getting killed because we can't make it out in the wilderness by ourselves in those dangerous environments from which we evolved. So those are the two psychological principles to be aware of, okay? And once we develop the consciousness around these principles is when we can overcome them, okay? Because our mind has a tendency to go down that path. But since we shine the light of our awareness on these principles, then we can become conscious of them, and then we can choose the way we respond to them rather than react based on conditioning, okay? Now, another point to consider is that the more someone uses their social media, the less social they are, okay? The more anxiety they have, the more depression they have. And again, this is not to say that it's because of the social media. It's because the social media is a distraction for something else, okay? It's like you can't blame the tool. You have to blame the person that's using the tool. Yes, there's these psychological principles being used, but that's still not an excuse at the end of the day, right? Understanding that this does become an escape, understanding that it doesn't actually enhance our social interaction, it actually makes us less social, and also the social comparison, this toxicity that comes in, right? When we are always looking and comparing ourselves to what someone else is up to. So these are points to keep in mind as well. And also they did a study where, you know, there was brought in two people and they were having a conversation, and they just assessed the level of connection, like self-reported levels of connection between these two people, right? And what they found is that even if there was a phone present, right, in the peripheral awareness, right, within eyesight of these two people, even if that phone was not theirs, right, it was a random phone, they would actually report lower levels of social connection in that regard, okay? So important points to keep in mind. And right now, I just want to share with you a 5-step framework that you can implement immediately to conquer digital addiction, okay? So first and foremost is to get clear on your values, okay? This is the most important thing that you can do. What is actually important to you, okay? Right now, list down 3 things that are the most important things to you. For example, for me, personal growth is perhaps the highest value that I have. And how can I use technology to actually enhance that value? How can I use it to embody this? Well, technology is what allows me access to these wonderful education platforms, what allows me to connect with people who are creating content that helps and elevates me, right? You're going through that right now as well. You're watching this channel because you are getting value from it in terms of how you can grow, how you can make yourself a better person, right? Getting clear that education is the value rather than entertainment, right? The dopamine reprogramming is about, you know, getting the dopamine from learning new things that allow us to elevate rather than getting that dopamine from the social reward, from the likes, from the comments, right? Service, right? I mean, we can reach so many people from social media, and we're creating conscious content that helps other people, sharing the stuff that helped us, right? That's something that can be enhanced through social media as well, or technology in general. And if fitness is a value of yours, like finding workouts online for free, right? Learning from the best fitness trainers in the world. There's so much depth, there's so much potential for technology to enhance our values. So once we get clear on what our values are, then we know which ways that technology is serving us, which ways social media is serving us, which way these digital platforms are serving us, and which ways they are not, right? And it's very important, right? Because you can't say you're distracted from something if you don't know what you are being distracted from, right? You're either being distracted, which means you're off your track, or you are in traction. You're moving towards your goals. And like I said, this is a tool which can help us reach our goals that much faster. But first and foremost, it is getting clarity on what your values are so that you can assess how this technology is hindering you from reaching your values and how it's actually supporting you from embodying your values. Okay, that's the first step right now. Now, the second step is to leverage the power of flight mode. Okay, anytime you're working, anytime that you are engaged in deep work, you do not want to be distracted. So you just put your phone on flight mode, put your phone outside of your peripheral awareness, outside of your sight, put it behind your laptop if you're working on your laptop, okay? And put it on flight mode so that no one can reach you, so that you can engage in flight mode, okay? Before going to sleep, put your phone on flight mode so that you don't get distracted. I know that emergencies can come up, okay? Now, if there's someone that you are personally responsible for taking care of, like, make sure there's another means through which they can reach you. But more often than not, when your phone is on flight mode, then you can actually create that space, you can create that time, you can create that opportunity for you to get that deep rest at night so that you don't get distracted by the notifications at night. And when you're engaged in that deep work, you can fully engage your focus as well, okay? Now, the third step is to delete any apps that don't serve you, okay? Go to your phone right now, look at it, see which apps you engage a lot of time in, which are not serving you, and just delete them, okay? Don't get anxiety around this because you can easily download them again, but just delete them. And then if you feel the need to get them back, you can, but just delete them, get rid of them so that they are not in your awareness, they are not on your phone, okay? Now, the fourth step in this framework is that of mastering your notifications, okay? So on my phone, I have my notifications off from Facebook, off from Instagram, off from YouTube. I don't have any notifications other than text messages and WhatsApp, right? In which a person is reaching directly to me, because you do not want to be distracted by other people's agenda, other people, like the social media's agenda, right? When you realize that, when you're not paying for a product, you are the product being sold, then you can let go of your attachment to these notifications and you can narrow down and focus on what is actually important to you, okay? So you can go into your settings, look at all the apps that are allowed to send you notifications and turn them all off, and only leave a couple of them on that are something that is important to you, right? So like I said, for me, it's only text messages and WhatsApp and calls, and nothing else is on, right? Even emails is off in that regard. And with that, I will show you what my phone looks like right now so that you can perhaps use that as a model for your own. So let's dive into my phone right now. So this is my home screen. As you can see, there is only one screen that it's on. I like keeping everything in one place so that I'm not always scrolling around looking for the right apps. As you can see, there are 7 different folders in which I divide all of my apps. The first one is primary tools. It's all of the stuff that I use most often, like the browser, Evernote, Google Translate, stuff like that. And then there is the aspirations. This is stuff that is in alignment with my goals, like the education platforms, like the health tracking, like the nutrition tracking, like a guitar tuner, like a meditation app, like Wim Hof breathing and yoga app. All of these apps that are in alignment with my goals, right? And education as well. So the next one is messaging. As you can see, it's like WhatsApp, Messenger, FaceTime, Gmail. All of these notifications are off. And then this is some business apps. You saw all of them over there. And then the utilities, right? Some stuff like documents, app store, stuff like that. Then the travel apps. And then there is the entertainment, right? Like the slot machine. So that is how I manage the apps on my phone. It's all on one screen so that I don't get distracted, and perhaps you can use this as a model for your own. Okay, so that is the 5-step framework on how to conquer digital addiction, on how to create that dopamine detox so that we can let go of this compulsiveness that arises from our need to get social validation, to get those random rewards from the slot machines that is social media. And we can take control and use these tools for what they allow us to experience and how they allow us to embody our values rather than get used by them. Okay, so I hope that you got value from this video. Leave a comment below letting me know what your number one takeaway is. I love hearing from you. I read each and every single comment. I reply to most comments as well. So leave a comment below letting me know what has been your number one takeaway. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as this dog is calling me right now, he's actually not, he's just distracting my video, but I'll go say hi to him anyway. And with that, I'll conclude this video and I will leave you in the peace and power of the one infinite creator. I hope that you are continuing to grow, take care of yourself, level up, improve, and I will see you in the next video.